So we'll finish our chat about the Southern Baptist growing up. So when I was 16, I could start dating then, and I can remember, you know, my mom and them always saying, "Well, we're gonna know who you're gonna go out with," and I'm like, "Okay, whatever." So I'd be like, she would start in, "Well, do I know their parents, and are they from Lockhart, Apopka?" And I'd be like, "Well, blah blah blah, yes, no, whatever," and try to get through the questions so that when he pulled up, I could get out of the house instead of going through a bunch of questions. So, anywho, that didn't work. So, well, before you go anywhere, you're going to have to bring him up here. I'm going to have to meet him. I'm like, okay. So he would come in, and then before you know it, she's talking about his parents. And, oh, I know this person, and you know that person? Well, oh, are you related to them? Oh, okay. And just on and on and on and on. Well, I had to be home by 12. I'm like, you are eating up my time. Let's go. And, but the funny thing about being home at 12 was I worked at Winn-Dixie. That was my first job. And I sometimes would work there till 2 in the morning trying to get everything done in the front end. I was like a cashier, front end manager or something, customer service. But, and back then, it's not like that today, but back then you would have to stay and stay and stay until the cashiers finished all the front end work. You would do all your closing night work, all the tills, all that, everything had to be a certain way. So there were days that I would go to work at like 4 in the afternoon and not get off till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I can remember making like $3 and something an hour. I look back now and I'm like, God, I was so stupid. Growing up, you go through those job things and you live and you learn. But what I couldn't figure out is, I can stay out till 2 working and get up at 6 and go back to school. So I worked a full-time job, and I also went to high school full-time. And I had my first car was a 67 Plymouth Satellite, navy blue. My second vehicle I had like a year later. It was an 82 Dodge Ram, and this was an 84. And it was midnight blue. And then I got a new car when I graduated. I paid for it, not my parents. And I had car payments, and my truck payment was $162.50 a month. I remember that. But then my car payment, I had the Daytona Turbo Z, and the year was an 85 and a half. They only made one year like this. And this one happened to be at the Chrysler Corporation where my mother worked. And so she was telling me about it. So, and that was a blue and a gray. But, so I had my bills that I had to pay. I paid my insurance, and, I bought my gas. I paid for my vehicle myself. All 3 of us did, my brothers and I. Whatever parent we had saved up at when we turned 16 or ready to buy our first car, they matched it. And so I would go and, I was always trying to better, myself. And so, but what I couldn't figure out is, golly, I could go out, but I had to be home by 12. I could be at work and work till 2:30. I mean, I've been there later when things didn't go right. And that was okay too. So I was just like, oh my gosh, why can't I stay out late? But knowing what I know now, I get it. Winn-Dixie was a closed environment. It wasn't open to anything and everything that could happen to someone. My color keeps changing because my screen, my computer screen keeps coming on and off. But but I just, I just thought I would touch base on that. I remember we had lock-ins at church, um, and I would hold those. After I got out of my high school years, I decided that youth was what I liked, and so I spent 10 years trying to teach the youth group, and so I would do that, you know, and I would teach them on Sunday, and then on like one night out of the month we would do something or have a sleepover at the church, like a lock-in, go skating, go do something, but we had a good time, but other than that, so the Southern Baptist heritage was a good thing to have behind me, because where I see now, a lot of people didn't grow up in church. They weren't raised with it. I'm glad that I was raised with a lot of things, because if I hadn't, it'd be harder today to adapt and to accept, especially when death rolls around. If you're not a Christian, I don't know how people get through it. I don't know. I mean, I know there's scientists. I know I've got friends, that just, they're just totally, there's no God, you know, and they have their opinion and I have mine, and that's it, and that's it. But it's truly hard when you watch the bad things in the world that go on and not know that there's a better out there for you. But I'm not going to stay on here long tonight. I'm just going to close at that. I just wanted to come in and say how do, and wish you guys a good next week. Until then.